discipline, they just published a paper and they did a bibliometric analysis. They looked at 186 papers which were published, which have used the term Industry 5.0. And first, the term was used in 2018. Let us give a quick overview. You see here a landscape of the articles which are clustered by the topics which they have covered, right? And what you see is, in addition to Industry 4.0, that here the articles deal with artificial intelligence and enhanced manufacturing and transformational performance. Okay. Then what was interesting to see that these articles deal a lot with how do human beings in the factories interact with robots and with this new type of digital technology. This is interesting to see, and looking 1 year later, also there were articles, less articles, but what we see here, it's also that sustainability was coming up. Sustainability, so Industry 4.0 should include more this sustainability aspect. It's not so explicitly included in the original philosophy. So, and also human aspects were addressed. Interesting. And then last year, there were also articles written. And what you see here, again, this is interesting that the human aspects are covered, sustainability aspects are covered, and also the human aspects and also resilience. You know, and let me just move forward. During the last 3 years, we have had in Europe difficult times, and I think the world has had difficult times. We have seen COVID. And interestingly, what we faced was the COVID crisis, and we have seen now more and more the climate change is taking place, and changing geopolitical landscape, looking at the Ukraine. And so these were major events. And in Germany, there was a group of industry experts and researchers, they said, we have to rethink the Industry 4.0 approach. And here's a paper, you can download this. This is on the EU level, also a paper which is published. And this is explicitly called Industry 5.0. And now, before I move to marketing here, what is in the paper written? And interestingly, for me, it was interesting to see that Industry 5.0 should, in addition to have this smart fabric, being human-centric. Why that? We have a lot of robots and we have a lot of digital sensors and so on. Why human-centric? I spoke to experts in Germany and they said, we forgot by changing our fabrics, factories, we looked too much to the digitalization of the machines, and we forgot the human beings which have to interact. Interesting. Second, we would expect the factory of the future has to be sustainable, CO2 neutral, and also recycling has to be included. And there was a new aspect. We have seen that supply chains were broken, were disrupted by the COVID crisis. So we got no products anymore from Asia in Europe and vice versa. So there is one main chapter here, and they said the Industry 5.0 should explicitly look at resilience. How can we be sustainable by having disruptions, maybe through climate change events? So having that in mind, that there was a 4.0 revolution, and this is now enhanced by the 5th revolution, let me just select 3 aspects. What are the implications for marketing strategies? I don't know if you are in marketing, maybe not. Let me shortly explain what the understanding of marketing is. In the next session, Philip Kotler, the Pope of Marketing from the US, he is also honorary doctor at our school, will speak here in the forum. And so he has also done a lot of work. Marketing often is associated with advertising, but that is only a small part. Marketing means that you have, it's more a leadership task, that you have to make your company customer-oriented. And you know, if you are an engineer, you are looking at how to engineer, how to make excellent machines. But the question is, for what purpose? At the end, the customer has to get a good product out of it. And often, the functions within the company are not oriented towards the customer. And so here, marketing means it's a process for creating, communicating, and delivering value to customers in a competitive world. Everybody tries to do it. So you have to be closer to the customer to get a competitive advantage. So we have to shift, if we do good marketing, our whole company, our mindset, think from the customer towards products and not from the product towards customers. So that is the main understanding of marketing. So let me just highlight 3 aspects. What might be important in the future if we take the Industry 5.0 philosophy, which we have just seen, and I see 3 main implications. One is getting access to the customer will be difficult in the future. You will see in a minute why. And also interacting with the customer, this is a huge challenge for research in the future. In a minute, I will say why. The second aspect is, if we design products for the future, we have not to think in linear chains. We have to think in circles. This is called circular economy. 20 years ago, I wrote my postdoctoral thesis about circular economy and marketing. And today, you can ask in Germany, you can ask in Europe, companies, we are forced into the circular economy during the next 10 years. This has huge implications for marketing. And the final aspect is resilience. I think in the future, companies have to take care about customers in a new way. Let me shortly explain, and then the time is over. Customer access and interaction. So here you see a value chain, right? Supplier, manufacturer, retailer, and customer. And the 4th and 5th industry revolution forces manufacturers more end-to-end relationship. What does it mean? So normally, the smart fabric is running very well if you include real-time data from the customer to the manufacturer. Look at Tesla. And also, you can give real-time feedback back to customers. This is very interesting to see, this interaction. I'm a board member of Unilever in Germany, and it's very interesting. Who owns the customer data? It's Unilever, or it's not Unilever, it's a retailer. It's very interesting for the future, and what we have heard before, the data of the customer is a new gold for the future. And maybe if we think about end-to-end, what will be the future of retailers? What will be the future, maybe, of pharmacies in this chain, if we get new ways of interacting customers and manufacturer, maybe in the pharmaceutical area and so on. And there is another aspect. If one manufacturer gets more and more data from customers, from us, there is a lock-in effect, because if we create so much data, it's harder for you to switch to another manufacturer, because the manufacturer which you have already gets a lot of data to customize maybe services and product designed to you. And there is a new term, and maybe you know the term, it's the digital twin. Will give us a lot of new ways to include customers or to interact with customers. Let me shortly say what it is, if you are not familiar with it. The term digital twin was used already 30 years ago, and but today we have new ways of speeding up the information flow and having sensors in our products and so on. And normally a digital twin is real-time data stream which you take to create a digital twin or a digital representation of a real-world object. Maybe for architects, they build a house and they have a digital, they have it on the screen and they can play around with this, right? And this technology is moving forward, and Hartung from Bosch, the CEO, last year, he said, digital twins are the key of our work in the connected world. And what does it mean here? There are some examples from Bosch that maintenance, you have not anymore go to the garage and check your car. This can done electronically, real time, so that you have predictive maintenance, right? Or maybe your e-powered car and so on. And there are huge cost reduction potentials. This is fascinating. It's unbelievable what is coming up. The patient gets a digital twin. We get a digital twin. And so in hospitals, it can be used just to test some aspects and so on. So keep in mind the digital twin has huge impact and is also something for marketers we have to keep in mind. What are the implications? Finally, beside the digital twin, we have the interaction to the customer. And this will change, and you know it. We will have smart speakers at home and robots at home. And we are far away of really having humanitarian robots, but it's a huge area of research. And also, if we change the digital context, you know the term Metaverse. So for marketing, this is a huge research area. And we did some kind of research, and we were frustrated how far away companies are to interact really in an excellent way with these new technologies and with the customer. And by the way, it's very interesting that we are sitting here in one room, live events, and getting in touch goes not away. It's very important for companies to have also these live events. Time is running. The second implication, circularity. I talked about this. This is the old way, or the way we think the value chain. Michael Porter, he has written books about this, the value chain. And you have to coordinate all the activities, and at the end there is a customer, and we have to link our ideas to the customer. Today, in the future, we have to have this mindset, a circle. And this is not so easy to understand. That means a product will not be waste, it will go back. It's easy to say, it's hard work to do. And the customer moves from the end to the middle. We have to think around the customer, and again, there are new ways of services. Bosch says we have the 5R strategy is, first of all, we have to redesign our products. We have to reduce material. We have to repair products more often. We have to reuse our products more often. And then we have to recycle, right? So new types of strategies, I think that's interesting to see. And again, the digital twin technology plays a role, because now maybe our iPhones and so on might be automatically disassembled because we know what's in and so on. This can be an interesting aspect. The third implication, beside thinking in circles, is a little bit difficult to understand. But let me address this, because I think this is a huge, huge challenge for the future. What does it mean? This is the customer, and the customer lives in spaces, physical space like this. A digital space, our internet, or the metaverse in the future. And I call it an ecological space. This is our nature. What happens more and more during the next years? We will be disrupted. And maybe you have seen yesterday the news, unbelievable, I think it's in Syria, and unbelievable floods, unbelievable. And geopolitical disruptions, hopefully not a world war, but what we see in Europe with the Ukraine, we are really shocked. And then cyber wars. Cyber wars, we are near to a war which is not physical, which is in the cyberspace. And what happens if you are, as a customer, faced, and also maybe we have shortage of resources? Who takes care? The government or the Red Cross? Yesterday there was a session. I think companies have to enhance their potential to take care about customers. And if you can do it, you get really a great respect and a great brand out of it. And my more or less final slide is, there's a theory, it's called Panahi, and I like the theory because it says, if you connect everything with everything, that's nice, you'll be more efficient, right? And you see, connectedness is one dimension, and assets, you need a lot of assets. Taking the wastewater system, we have it already. Taking the energy system, and now taking the digital production. And these are circles. And interestingly, these circles are interconnected. And if you look at the last stage, we are very, very connected with our internet, with our mobile phones, and with the other systems. What happens if in 1 minute the power here in the room is off? What happens? And in the theory, it's said, if we are more and more connected, we lose resilience, especially if we are disruptive. This is interesting. And I think climate change will disrupt, firstly, our infrastructure. Power is not anymore there. And if you have a smart home, it's hard to get out from a smart home if you have no power. And so all these upper level infrastructures will not anymore work. It's very future-oriented thinking. But I think the term decoupling is something we have to use also for customers in the digital space, physical space, ecological space. And also de-risking. It's used at the moment in political areas. We have ideas for new services, new products, and new initiative. One example for decoupling. In Europe, and maybe that's not new, maybe you have also here in Asia these movements. We have the so-called Gaia project. And this is a data space which is not directly connected with the world, which is a space where suppliers and manufacturers and also customers can be in, but not automatically connected to the whole world. So you have a wall or you have buffers. And I think for strategic alliances, this is important to be in. Let me summarize. So the fourth industry revolution, we have learned it's a digital connected factory, has a huge potential, but slow implementation, what I've learned from the interviews. There is a fifth revolution on the way, which is centered to the human being, to the employee, or to the customer again, sustainable and resilient. And the barriers to implement the fifth industry revolution is that often top management said, it's an IT problem, it's an IT responsibility. No, it's not. It's a top management responsibility to take care about this change. And also we need infrastructure like 5C, otherwise it's hard to do it. The impact of fourth industry and fifth industry revolution on marketing is strong. And I have shown access challenges because the customer gives a lot of data to the manufacturer and will be locked in. Changing and switching costs is high, and therefore he will maybe be more loyal to one manufacturer. And then we looked at interactions with robots. We will see more. We would expect this, but it's a real challenge to optimize it. Value circles are more important in the future, and circular marketing is the new idea to think about how to think includes the customer. And at the end, I call this, the term is not at the moment available, but customer resilience marketing. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'm happy to answer some questions.
Thank you.